He's always been a very clinical analyst and very good at Lennox at taking emotion out of situations. But I'm thinking back to his own career. You know, there were certain bits of business at British level that brought out the best in the other man. Gary Mason for a while.
Great fun.
Derek Williams, you know, was a live rival going into that fight, wasn't he? And I think maybe most of all, Frank Bruno.
Exactly.
On that night in Cardiff.
It was
strange things happened.
Frank Bruno was doing well in that fight. Watch the fight back. Frank Bruno's jab was a lot better than people thought it would be. You know, obviously Lennox sort of rose to the occasion as in the later rounds, but you know these British showdowns have got steeped in history. Yeah. You know, I've had plenty of my own.
Absolutely.
I've had plenty of my own, and I know how much it means. There's one thing fighting someone from a foreign country. And when people come to the street, they're saying, "Oh, beat this guy." But when it's someone from London or someone from Manchester or someone...
Or Liverpool, in your case. Bellew twice over Tony Bellew.
It really gets everybody fired up.
Jarek Chisora, well, you took them from all corners of the UK, actually. Macaronelli, Gary Delaney, Carl Thompson, Audley Harrison, etc. You embraced it, David.
Yeah, you need to try and find the fighters that the fans want, and usually it's someone from the same side of the pond. And this is just a perfect situation. Both fighters from London, both of them, you know, in their prime. They're different ages, but they both look like they're in their prime. They're both fighting like they're in their prime. You know, Joe Joyce is mid-30s, but he's had such a wealth of amateur pedigree. Is that going to be a factor in this fight? When we talk about rising to the occasion, there's all eyes on this fight. Dubois hasn't had to deal with this type of hysteria. Joe Joyce has been to the Olympic finals not that long ago, so you know he's used to the photographs, he's used to the interviews. And that plays a part in these fights. And
it was interesting, I think, that Lennox touched on that so much when Caroline Pearce spoke to him, because, of course, he's trodden the same path.
Yeah, Olympic silver medal himself and Olympic gold medal. So he's been there and done it. He understands the benefits of having an amateur pedigree, fighting the best Cubans, the best Russians, Americans. You know, you're fighting all these Eastern Bloc international amateur champions, and it really raises your game. Joe Joyce had a great amateur pedigree, and that I think is the thing that gives him, I believe, the advantage in this fight, the amateur period, the fact that he's fought better opposition to this point. A lot of people look at the youth, look at the punch power, look at the explosivity of Dubois, but I agree with all of that. But I haven't seen it at world level. I've seen Joyce beat Stavern, I've seen him beat Jennings, I've seen him beat Ustinov. I've only seen Dubois beat Gorman. Maybe he has more in the locker, but I haven't seen it yet. I'm just going by...
So interesting.
I'm just looking at their former opponents and how they've dealt with them.
With all your knowledge, with all the knowledge of a Lennox Lewis, let me parachute you into the camp of either of these two fighters. It's relatively new for both of them. With 2 weeks to go, what's the most important thing?
Holding it down. I know they've probably got a few more sparring sessions to take care of before this fight, maybe one or two. Making sure that they're sharp, making sure that the rounds are tough and hard and grueling, because this fight's going to get very grueling pretty quickly, I think. I think there's going to be 1 or 2 rounds feeling each other out. The respect's going to be there, but once one of them lamps on the other, it's going to get really serious, really. I've seen Joe Joyce have a style, get hit. He's not the type of guy to sort of shy away from it. Once you hit him, he starts working. That's when he gets going. Same thing with Dubois. You know, you see him get clipped sometimes, and he wants to go. So it's the perfect ingredient for an absolute barnstormer.
You're not thinking about a comeback, are you?
No, not with these guys. Anyway, they're too young and fresh and strong.
OK, that's for later on.
Yeah.
So let me take you to the strengths of both of these men. First, the obvious one of Daniel Dubois. How do you nullify, if you're Joyce, what Dubois will clearly want to bring?
You need to avoid getting hit. It sounds super basic, but you need to avoid those big bombs early. You know, Dubois has shown consistently that he can knock you out. If he can get those knuckles to your chin, you're going to sleep, and that's plain and simple. No matter who you are, I know Joe Joyce has a fantastic chin, one of the best in the business, but he doesn't want to be taking concussive successive punches from Dubois, because he's that heavy-handed. Single punch is his thing. Look at him putting these shots together. None of these guys you're seeing getting knocked out are in the category of Joe Joyce in skills, in terms of defence, but he's getting them out of there and getting them out in good style. So the confidence with Dubois is there to see. You know, he really believes in his power. When a fighter believes in his power, it can work one of 2 ways. He can either rely on it too much, where he forgets about his defence, or he can just be comfortable in the moment, ready to pounce whenever he needs to. I haven't seen as much of Dubois as I'd like to in the gym. I've seen a lot of Joyce, though. So I know Joyce is very adaptable. I've seen him use his long-range boxing against Ustinov. He was a very, very... the jab to the body was great. He was using his legs. Then if you look at Stavern, he just went at him, left, right, left, right, left, right, and just ground him down. So he's shown me 2 different game plans. I don't know which one he's going to bring to
What do you think Dubois expects of Joyce?
I think Dubois expects Joyce just to come at him. I think he expects him to come at him and he's going to try to shoot down the pipe. As you can see here, Joyce, you know, when he gets his man hurt, he just keeps punching. The punches aren't that fast, but they're very, very effective. You know, look at the shots he throws, they're awkward, they come around the side. He's got an awkward style, and everyone who's ever sparred with him or fought him have all just said, it's just horrible to be in there with him. It's just not fun whatsoever because he's just there. He's so big and he's solid. So if you do hit him, he doesn't back up. He rarely backs up. He just absorbs it and keeps moving forward. So you need to have a big gas tank. And Dubois, to be able to get through to the second half of the fight, he needs to be in tremendous condition because he's going to need to be because Joyce... I've seen Joe Joyce fight at a heavy, heavy pace in the gym and in the ring, and I know it's there. We haven't seen Dubois yet. I believe he's got it there. I don't believe he's needed it yet, but he's going to need it on in a couple of weeks' time.
I say indeed. I've said that most people, you know, are shilly-shally.
Yeah.
I get the idea that you have a favourite.
I have a favourite because I've witnessed what Joe Joyce has done. I've seen it in the Olympics. I've seen many people believe he did enough to beat Tony Yoka in that final. A lot of people.
Yeah, agreed.
So that's his calibre as an amateur. You know, European champion, Commonwealth champion. He's done it all. Dubois, we haven't seen that side. He boxed in some great fights, some great results. But I need to see him in there against someone like Joyce to really know what he's all about. And I think the question, there's more question marks with Dubois than there is Joyce. You know, he's younger. He's a guy who's, I believe, his best weapon is his left hook to the body. That, I believe, is the shot that Joe Joyce needs to be most mindful of, because the only time I've ever seen Joe Joyce hurt was when he was in the first round against Jennings. You've got to give credit where credit's due with both Joyce and Dubois. They're in a stage of their career where very few fighters would be willing to step in the ring with someone as formidable as their opponent will be in 2 weeks. So it's you have to understand that this is a real fight. Rarely do you get fights where both fighters could arguably be the favourite at this stage in their career in the heavyweight division, the glamour division. So make sure you buckle yourself in and get ready for that one. And let's not forget, after that fight, you got Mike Tyson and Roy Jones Jr. What a night of boxing.